I got my own crazy biases all the way through episode 2 of the Mae Young Classic, but does that work out in my favor? Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your episode 2 review for the Mae Young Classic. Said in the first episode, I like what they're doing. It feels a lot like the CWC in all the right ways. It's a lot of fun, and it's very... I know that, you know, big, deep, complicated arguments is what the YWC is all about. But this show is simple, and I'll tell you something. It makes it better. Same thing with NXT. 1 hour, couple of matches, couple of video packages if you want to, makes a good show. We start off the first show, we start off the beginning of this show, recapping last week and the winners, Princess Suhi, which was questionable if you ask me, Serena Deeb, which is awesome, Shayna Baszler, who's terrifying, and Abby Laith, who had that great, you know, David and Goliath match with Jazzy Gabbert to cap off the last show. Our first match this week is, or sorry, I shouldn't say this week, this episode is Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li. We go into the video packages, and basically, I mean, there's information on both girls, but you really hear that Xia Li, coming over from China, you know, it's her first ever match. I don't know what they mean by that. Like, I'm sure she's stepped in the ring before. I'm sure she's had exhibition matches before. I'm sure she's done something, but they keep hitting over the head that it's her first match. I guess they either mean in WWE or in America, which is fine. Flip it over to the much more powerful, much more scary-looking Mercedes Martinez, who's a powerful brawler and has been wrestling for 16 years. So a little bit of a power discrepancy here. A little bit of a, you know, teacher versus student, again, much like Jazzy and Abby Laith last week. It's a David and Goliath type situation. Xia Li's the clear underdog, etc. It's a short match. I'll just tell you that right now. Mercedes wipes off the handshake, you know, playing mind games, as we say, with the new young upstart, as you could say. Front slam and a face lock and a snapmare by Mercedes. Snapmare and paintbrushes all over the back of the head. Just playing more mind games. And the commentary, which is Jim Ross and Lita, who I'm loving more and more episode by episode, they play up the mind games. Huge. Playing up, you know, this girl's got everything working against her in this match, etc. It's really good. Series of kicks and an uppercut by Lee. Headlock takeover and a kitchen sink by Lee. Low tornado kick by Lee. A couple of simple straight jabs, spinebuster by Mercedes, and then she rolls in one continuous motion. She goes from the spinebuster to a bow and arrow, but it's a bow and arrow that rolls into a dragon sleeper and gets her the win. This was a very, very simple, very dominant looking match. Now, if this was an episode of Raw or SmackDown or NXT, I would assume that Mercedes Martinez was the blue chipper you just signed to your brand, and Xia Li was the local jobber that was brought in this week to put them over. That would make sense. They do hit over the head a lot that she's brand spanking new, so it doesn't make her look bad that she lost, and it doesn't make her look bad that she lost this quickly to a 16-year veteran. But, I mean, it's not, as somebody that doesn't know either one of them, which I am, I don't come out of this match thinking very highly of Xia Li. Hope, you know, best of luck in your future endeavors as far as that goes. Mercedes Martinez moves on to face Princess Suhi in the next round. And Jim Ross takes time to mention that of everybody in this tournament, those two are the longest veterans, like they've been the most experienced in the entire tournament, which is funny and great. And we've got a masked female luchador that's not Sexy Star to talk about, because, you know, she's gonna have a job. The next match I've dubbed NXT versus TNA, because it's Rachel Evers, daughter of Paul Ellering, who we've seen a lot on NXT, mostly in an enhancement role, but she's pretty damn good. She's pretty damn powerful, too. She talks about having no one particular style. You know, if somebody wants to wrestle, if somebody wants to grapple, hey, if somebody wants to try and outpower me, I've got medals for powerlifting, so come try your luck type thing. Marty Bell was in that beautiful people type faction in TNA with that other girl Jade and a couple of other people, and it was just shit. But like, as we see so often in wrestling, you see a really, really shitty gimmick, but buried within that shitty gimmick, there's actually some good wrestlers. So I was really, really excited to see that she was going to be involved in this tournament. Really excited to see that Rachel Evers is involved in the tournament as well. And as I say, I mentioned it on the last episode, but it's much like the CWC, where if I see a couple names that I'm at least somewhat familiar with, it's going to make me more interested in the tournament. It's going to give me an investment. Not necessarily, hey, I know that person, they should win, but it does give me something to latch onto, like the Serena Deeb thing, like when I realized that T.J. Perkins was the man behind the Suicide character in TNA, when I realized they were bringing back Brian Kendrick and Tajiri and guys like that. And trust me, we're going to talk about Tajiri tonight. Oh, fuck yeah, we are. But they have the typical handshake. It seems to go relatively well. No disrespect between either person. The crowd is heavily behind Rachel Evers, and that makes sense because they're in the fucking NXT arena. They've seen Rachel Evers lots of times. Marty backs off 3 times from a collar and elbow tie-up. Evers is trying to go for the collar and elbow tie-up. Marty Bell backs off twice. She plants herself as the heel really, really early in this match, and she's trying to back off. She's trying to stick and move as it is, but they finally get into the collar and elbow tie-up. There's a side head lock. It's not really that hard to say. I'm sorry. Kitchen sink and a double underhook throw by Marty. Bicycle boot by Evers. Number 1. Trip and a second rope leg drop. Hangman by Marty, roll through, and she follows that up with a roll through DDT. Series of strikes and a lariat by Marty. Evers eats all 4 turnbuckles. And the fans start to even out. They go, let's go Rachel, let's go Marty, let's go Rachel. So the Marty Bell, although Rachel Evers is, a hometown NXT girl, and they are in the NXT arena, they're at Full Sail. Marty Bell, in her own way, with her exuberance and her attitude and all that sort, is starting to win some of them over, so it evens out the crowd, which is kind of cool. Corner forearms and another bicycle boot by Evers. That's number 2. Running senton by Evers and a spine buster and a 3rd bicycle boot by Evers. Cradle powerbomb, hangman by Marty, Hangman by Marty, followed by a faceplant. She gets really, really cocky in the cover, gets reversed into a cradle by Evers. Rachel Evers gets the win, and good for her. I hope they hold on to Marty Bell as well, even if they do use her as an enhancement talent on NXT, like Rachel Evers is being right now. It will allow people like Rachel Evers and Sarah Logan, who we're going to talk about in a minute, to move sort of up the ranks into the Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott level. Rachel Evers goes on to face Abby Lath in the next round, and I like this. I like this for Abby Lath. Don't get me wrong. The role that she played last episode, when it was her versus Jazzy Gabbert, big, huge, scary, monstrous monster, versus happy little Abby Lath, and she gets the the underdog, the David and Goliath victory, as I said. That's cool, and good for her. She made her statement nice and quick in the first round. But it'll be cool now to see her athletically go with somebody that is her equal. And I think Rachel Evers will give her a great match. We see in the crowd there's 2 new signings by WWE. I don't know what this has to do with the tournament, but we're going with it. It doesn't have the tournament doesn't have anything to do with Ronda Rousey either, and we saw her last episode. I'm going to try and pronounce this, and I'm going to fail. Let's just level ourselves with that right now. Casey Catanzaro, who is apparently from American Ninja Warrior, which doesn't mean anything to me because I've barely heard of that show, let alone seen it, and Shadia Baseo from Jordan, who was found in the, they said where the friggin' talent camp was, and I don't remember. So that's that, and I didn't write it down because I'm that brilliant. Miranda Salinas, in her video, spends most of the time talking about being 5 feet tall and being overlooked, which makes me laugh when we have a woman on the Raw roster who's a multiple-time women's champion whose nickname is 5 Feet of Fury. Looking at you, Alexa Bliss. Then we got Rhea Ripley, tall, hot-ass, blonde chick from Australia whose promo and video is mostly about her loving soccer and loving mosh pits. So I love her already. I don't give a shit about soccer, but it is what it is. Rhea Ripley versus Miranda Salinas, and the Aussies are in this crowd tonight. The Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi chants take over about 90% of this match. They have the handshake, and as soon as they go for the handshake, the size difference between the two of these women is wow. I'm not saying anything against Miranda Salinas, don't get me wrong, but head and shoulders difference between the two, and you're like, okay, either this is going to be yet another David and Goliath situation, or this giant's going to win, and it's going to be awesome. Headlock by Miranda, reversed by Ripley, reversed by Miranda, and a drop kick by Ripley. And it's just to see them play with these headlocks when they're so different in size and stature, and just have it be like, okay, enough of that, drop kick by Ripley. Also, did anybody else hear the name Rhea Ripley and immediately think of Ripley from the Alien series? No? Just me? Okay. Drop toe hold into a hangman by Miranda. Corner chops by Ripley. Snapmare and a boot by Miranda. They trade forearms stiffly. Oh, yes. Clothesline by Ripley. Haluva kick and a hesitation drop kick by Ripley. Made me smile, first of all, because the Haluva kick, you know, Sami Zayn and all that. I'm sure Chase Oliver loved it. But also, Rhea Ripley in her promo said, basically, you know, she loves soccer, so I can kick pretty well. So, Haluva kick, immediately followed by the hesitation dropkick. Hesitation dropkick from somebody that tall is impressive in and of itself. Chop block by Miranda, full Nelson slam by Ripley, and Rhea Ripley gets the win. Rhea Ripley is going on in the next round to either face Dakota Kai or Kavita Devi. Say that 3 times fast. Good luck to her. Glad she advanced. Now, you want to talk about my bias. You want to talk about me being a little bit pissed off in the first round of this tournament. Mia Yim, who basically goes on to say that she's a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Good for you. She's a huge outspoken person against domestic violence. She made her own domestic experience into a big public thing, and she uses her notoriety from wrestling to bring attention to this thing called put a nail in domestic violence or whatever. Awesome. Great for her. Domestic violence is terrible. You lay a hand on a woman, you're a fucking asshole. Let's just say that right off the bat. But okay, cool. Mia Yim, girl I've never heard of that's already doing cool things. Amazing. Her opponent is Sarah Logan, who's another one on NXT who's mostly being used as a developmental talent. But I fucking love Sarah Logan. Anybody that has been watching my NXT reviews knows I love Sarah Logan. I love those kick-ass, tomboy, like, hot as fuck chicks. You could bang her, but you could also chill with her, have a beer, and maybe watch some wrestling. So yeah, my voting is all behind Sarah Logan, and she makes a fucking fantastic showing of herself in this match. Before the match starts, we see Beth Phoenix and Natalya in the crowd, which is nice. Sarah Logan versus Mia Yim starts with a handshake, and they both show a lot of respect. They have a little, like, they don't do the whole friggin' like ceremonial bow thing, but you know, handshake, and they give each other a little head nod type thing, and it's really cool. JR and Lita bounce multiple times off of this one story about Sarah Logan, where she graduated, and 4 days later she hopped on a plane to immediately start learning in Japan so that she could be, you know, strong, have that strong style, etc. Headlock by Yim, who works the arm immediately. Back elbow and a stiff-as-fuck shoulder tackle from Sarah Logan. Arm drag and a drop kick by Yim, and lots of kicks. Oh yes, I thought at some point in this match that I was going to be able to say it loud and say it proud, the Daniel Bryan silly kicks, but we didn't quite get that far. Headbutt, kitchen sink, and mounted punches by Logan. Corner chops by Yim, followed by a tarantula, where the commentators take a moment to pay tribute to Tajiri, and follows it up with a drop kick. Roll through face lock body scissor combination submission by Yim is fucking pretty. For somebody I don't know, I'll give her a lot of credit for that. They trade forearms, and they don't just trade forearms. She's in that face lock body scissor submission situation. She finally kicks her way out, but they're still sitting almost cross-legged across from each other, punching, kicking, booting, until the action of them striking each other brings both of them back to their feet. Low running knee strike by Sarah Logan, which JR compares to Nakamura's Kinshasa, which makes me smile a lot. Back suplex by Yim, twice a backdrop by Logan. Fisherman suplex by Logan, but Mia Yim comes back with the Gail Kim special, aka the Eat Defeat, and Mia Yim wins. Sarah Logan is out of the tournament. And I'm sorry. Yes, I'm a Why? Why are you beeping? Why is this a thing? Yes, I'm a mark, and yes, I am incredibly biased. I am really bummed that Sarah Logan is not going to succeed on in this tournament, but won't take anything away from the Mia Yim. I will not take anything away from Mia Yim. That's not that hard to say. It's not even ridiculous o'clock. I don't even have an excuse. I'm sorry. Mia Yim wins. She goes on to face Shayna Baszler in the next round. Go have fun with that. The only thing I will say, and I would have said the same thing if they had had Rachel Evers lose, the way I could legitimize those two losing is we already know pretty well that they're not established, like, main stars on NXT, but they are familiar names on NXT already. They could go in there, put in a good showing, go back, show up on NXT, and the commentators could talk about the good fight that they put up in the tournament, and they could go on and do something else. They're already kind of there. That is the only way I can legitimize people like that I like, that I'm more familiar with, losing in this tournament and be okay with it. But as I say, I really would have loved to see Sarah Logan go farther in this tournament. Great second round. It really was. I don't know when I'm going to get the third and fourth ones out there. They are recorded. We are leading up into the long weekend. I don't know what that's going to entail for me, and it might not entail a lot of wrestling and recording. So you might be getting the second 2 episodes of this round sometime next week, or if I find a free moment this weekend, you might get some more this weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. I'm Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak.